Now that we found our superintendent. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Would you show that all board members are present? And would you stand with me and recite the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And if you would please silence your phones or any other kind of contraption that makes noise. Thank you. Next thing on our agenda is the approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve the agenda as submitted.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Second. Do I have any discussion, additions, deletions? Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Passes. Do we have any public comments on agenda items? No. Okay. Now we come to board planning goals and strategies.
Yep.
Well, I guess we do, don't we? Look at all these lovely young ladies and young men. I'm sorry.
Principal Gooden.
Principal Gooden's going to...
Welcome,
Thank
Principal Gooden, we appreciate you being here tonight and with some great looking young people from New Washington Elementary.
Okay, well, first I want to thank Dr. Mellon, the board, for having us here tonight. I'm Darcy Gooden. I'm principal at New Washington Elementary School. We are a rural school with about 300 students between pre-K and 5th grade. We're a very community-oriented school with several activities that belong in our school. You know, we have the traditional cross-country and track and basketball, volleyball, wrestling and cheer, but we also have academic sport or academic clubs available with robotics, newspaper, our academic team, our art club, and I just missed one off the top of my head, so Miss Berry, if I forget, remind me of it in just a second, because it's one that's really obvious, and I forgot it, and I thought, I'll get it. So, oh, I know what it is because Miss Berry is doing it. It's our student council. And I honestly was going to put it somewhere else because this year we're becoming an honor council.
Oh.
And so that's a very prestigious designation for the student council. So that is exciting news at New Washington this year, along with the implementation of our archery club and our archery team. And so we will be beginning our archery program this year at New Washington. Another unique activity for us is, as of last year, all of our students between 2nd grade and 5th grade received free swimming lessons from the YMCA through a partnership with them. And so every student in my building last year between 2nd grade and 5th had received swimming lessons and was able to swim. And so this year we will train our 2nd graders again and sustain that as we go on. But that's a great program that we partner with the YMCA, and we're able to give free swimming lessons to our students during the school day. We work with the high school, we go over to the high school, so these guys right here are going to get swimming lessons this year. And
I'm sure very excited. They were very excited.
Very excited about it. We also have a partnership with Hanover College where we would work with their future teachers and some of their university professors. We're training on project-based learning and partnering with them in that as well. Through our Pride program, we have what is called a club day once a month, which is very exciting. And each student gets to do a cool activity one time a month through our Pride, which has included sewing, cooking, screen printing, and graphic design. We have the Department of Natural Resources comes in and does a program with our students at that time. And we've also partnered with Emily Jones in doing a kindness club this year. And so that's really exciting during that time. And so those are just some of the highlights that we offer students at New Washington. It's a great little community school, and I'm so proud of all of our students. And I've got 6 students here to present to you. Every year at school we have a theme. And this year's theme is adventure. And these 2nd graders are getting ready to take you on a little bit of an adventure that they have been experiencing so far. So I will turn it over to Mrs. Berry, our 2nd grade teacher, and she can introduce the kiddos to you, and they can explain where their adventure has taken them so far.
Boy, look at all that.
I'm Miss Berry, and I teach at a 2nd second grade in Washington, and talking in front of adults is not my specialty. So. But I brought 6 of my kids to kind of show you guys what we've been doing when I found out that we were going to do adventure as our theme. So I have Addie and Erica are going to come up first, and they're going to tell you about something that we're doing this year.
We have been getting postcards around the United States, and I got Texas and Hawaii, and I have Sweden, Turkey, and
No.
no.
So what's on the postcards when we get them?
There's usually pictures where they are,
And what's on the back? What do they write about?
stuff around
Around their area, yeah. So we've reached out and asked people around the country and around the whole world to send us postcards so the kids could learn about places outside of New Washington. So we've gotten some overseas and we've gotten some around us. We got one from Sweden do you remember who it came from? Why is that important?
Because it was one of Miss Berry's students.
Yeah, from my second year of teaching, and now she's studying abroad in Sweden and sent us a
Nice.
postcard.
Very nice.
They see that they can grow up to do some good.
Yes.
Okay, so the next up is going to be Maddie and Braxton.
Good job, ladies.
So we do this where it's called STEM, and we'll build stuff, and we'll like research places around the world, and then we'll have to build something really cool that's in that state. And last week we built the Golden Gate Bridge.
It's good.
And we had to choose some different items, and we do books about it, and sometimes we'll write about that, what we do. And, we'll have to see like which one's bigger, which one's smaller. And we use these and put on to see if they fill or not. And a lot of times, we picked 3 of them on, I think. I don't know, I don't think we picked that.
And we pretend those bubbles are people on the bridge, and they got to see how many their bridge can hold.
There.
Okay.
And then we have Spencer.
This is the arch, and these are the steel, what it's made out of, for the straws. And we pick 4 or 3 different materials to build something, and we pick straws, these little things, and Play-Doh, and these, and it stands by the Mississippi River.
They get nervous.
You're doing well. You're doing fine.
We call it landmark STEM, so we're trying to learn as many landmarks as we can.
Okay.
And they have to research it, read about it, and then build it. So they've done an awesome job.
Yes.
We have, there's a train that you can ride on, and only 2 people can fit in it, and it will take you across.
That's right.
Very cool.
Do you remember the big word you would want to be if you got in it? This or the sea? Why would you want to be claustrophobic? Yeah, you're squeezing it really tight.
And that's the arch that we built.
Nice. You know what, you guys, we're just so proud of you. You're applying your learning. You're doing things that are really interesting. It's interesting to learn about different places in this country and in the world, right? Is that interesting? Yeah. And what I think is great is that you have the opportunity to apply your learning in a STEM type of environment like this. So to me, that's a great way to be more engaged and in what you're doing. And more importantly, all of you coming here and being able to stand up in front of a group of people, there are people a lot older than you that would struggle much more than you just did. You all did a great job. Great job. Yeah, great job from the teaching perspective and Principal Gooden also. I mean, this is the kind of thing that we're just very proud of what's happening at New Washington Elementary and very proud of these young people. They did a tremendous job. Thank you.
I'd like for the students to turn around and look at the students behind you. Hold up your hands, high school students. See that? They're going to talk in a little bit, and you know what you've done? You've set a very high bar for them. Because now they're going to have to talk in front of all of us, and you guys did such a great job. Thank you again.
Yeah, that's great.
All righty, and I apologize, Ms. Gooden, I just, right over the top of you, I was looking at the wrong page, I'm sorry. Well, we've already done the Pledge of Allegiance and the approval of the agenda, so now we'll move into, and there's no public comments, our board planning goals and strategies. And that's going to have a facilities update, right? Oh, if any of our young presenters need to go home and don't want to stay around for this amazing meeting we're going to have, we will dismiss you if you would like to leave.
And thank you, parents.
Thank you, parents.
For everything.
I should have recognized all of you that belonged as your great kids. Thanks, Renee. All right. Back to our facilities update. Thank you. Dr. Deichel.
Good evening, Board. First up is just wanted to show you what the Facilities Department has been doing this summer. We've been pulled every which way but loose with all the demands that have been on the Facility Department. At the administration building, we ended up repaving a small section behind us that was really crumbling. We also got rid of part of a concreted area so the delivery truck can shoot straight back instead of making a turn. I've always worried about cars being hit by the truck as he's backing up. So that's taken care of, and it really looks a lot nicer back there. Next is Bridgepoint Elementary. We just finished the painting on the front of the building, the dark blue. It looks a lot better than the faded blue that was on there. So that we just finished that about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Charlestown Middle School, you can see we're moving along. We're still looking at December 31st that we will be done. You can see the media center reading area on the left side and then the raised area on the right. And you know, it's coming along pretty good. They're really getting things done. That's a normal science room. You can see the different size of the furniture, the flooring that's in there. The teachers were the ones responsible for picking out their furniture. On the right side, we had a parent that donated a football scoreboard. His son was on the team, and they only had 3 home games, but we got it up, but not in time for all 3 games. So, still at Charlestown Middle School, we ended up redoing the front area there, replaced the mulch with rock. We're trying to stay away from mulch now, and because we have to do that every year, so we're going with pea gravel just to save money any which way we can. At the Fender Center, you can see there's the small conference room on the left and the kitchen area on the right. That's coming along. That's supposed to be done by December 31st also. That, if you look at the red part on there, the red part is where they had to saw cut out the concrete floor. They put in electricity. So there's, I think, 4 plugs per row. So when we do have some kind of a doing there, a banquet or whatever, and somebody needs to plug in their laptops, all 8 people at that particular table or those tables will be able to plug their laptop into the plug that's below. So that's nice. This is the band room at Jeff High before we did our renovation. This is what it looks like after the renovation. You can see it's a much nicer looking facility for the students there, the practice room, the percussion room. This really turned out really nice. Okay. North Haven, the only thing left that I'm aware of that we still have to do there is we had some extra money, so we ended up ordering carpeting for the principal main office area, counselor, whatever, all those offices in the main office area. That should be done during fall break. There's the side view of the addition and then the rear entrance to North Haven. That's a 5th grade classroom. That's the wing that we added on. You can see how nice and bright it looks with the LED lights, new furniture, new flooring. Kids really love it over there. That's the back hallway by the cafeteria. We just finished that one up about 2-3 weeks ago. And then on the right side is the new flooring that we put down in an existing section that was kind of buckling, so that looks better. That's same new flooring in the existing hallway, and you can just see how the colors just pop in these pictures. You know, it's not just a normal gray flooring anymore. At Parkwood, you could see what it looked like in the backside of Parkwood and what it looks like now. Landscapers really did a great job. We had 8 or 9 college students working almost the whole summer for us. River Valley, you can see the media center. They are going to start putting the books in the cabinetry there. The cafeteria floor tile is finally all laid down. It was just down in the lower level. Now they've got the whole upper level done, and we just have to do the hallways leading out from the cafeteria. That's another view of the cafeteria floor tile and what the cafeteria looks like with their new furniture. River Valley Science Lab, they also have the furniture that the teachers wanted. You can see it's not the standard rectangle or square type furniture. And then there's the 6th grade hallway. You can see the lockers on the right hand side that we put in the hallway there. There's the landscaping before and after pictures at River Valley. So we were okay to do that because we were sure the city wasn't going to require us to move any of that landscaping again. At Riverside, basically all we did there was we resealed the parking lot, restriped it, had better traffic flow striping for the people in handicaps. And that was it. I really give a lot of credit to the laborers and the facility guys. They did a heck of a job this summer. In addition to moving all the furniture that we had to do for the academies, moving furniture in and out for the different schools that we had to do, they did a heck of a job this summer. So just want to give you a brief update.
We had a nice tour of North Haven and Charlestown Middle, and there's just no comparison to what it was. It just is very, very nice.
Tom, I do have a couple of concerns, and this is basically for the health of the kids, allergies. I inquired when we did the September 5th, went through to see the facilities. We heard this noise coming from the event. So I got up on a chair, took it out.
That's a workers' comp issue, you know that.
And, well, I'm not an employee, so don't worry about it. But anyway, the filters they weren't cluttered. They were just compacted with dust.
Which school?
Charlestown Middle.
Well, Charlestown Middle School. So if it's at Charlestown Middle School, I know it's at River Valley.
With all
So
the
they
dust.
said the replacement on filters is every 6 months. I got a problem with that. Those filters that were still under construction, they need to be checked on an either bi-weekly or a monthly basis, because right now, there was no air coming through those when I took my finger and I just took it across, dust just go off. So we need to make sure that there is a routine maintenance on that. The other thing that I was looking at is at North Haven, at the entrance, you have a yellow line going across the front. I think we could paint that during spring break. Yeah, I mean, if we're talking about people seeing that rise, it looks kind of bad. I know the other things that we looked at, doors, that's something down the road, but these are just little minor things that a gallon of paint can take care of.
Okay.
One of the things too, Dr. Dykle, is with the filters, with all the construction that was occurring and still occurs in the building, Todd Gibbons, our Director of Facilities, was there along with us, and so he was there when Milt was sort of pointing that out. So I would assume that all those filters will be replaced, just because as the building continues to, the construction completes and we're cleaning the facility, that those filters, part of the system is just collecting some of the dust that's come from all the construction that's occurred. But we definitely need to look at that.
Okay.
I'd also mention that POSCO, our band room, remember POSCO in their gift of $30,000 went to help to pay for the cost of the Jeff I band room. That was designated to Jeff I by POSCO, the steel maker that's in the port. So that was a very nice gesture. So you can see the final facility improvement done there. And the other thing that we've talked to our team about, both facilities and our administrative team, is that just the overall idea of our PRIDE program as it relates to the facilities as a whole. And that, we need to make sure that everyone takes pride in our facilities. We know that our facilities, we have a lot of them, and we're at different ages and so on, but it's everyone's responsibility to do everything in their power to keep things clean and picked up, and so it's been a real emphasis for our team this year that we do want to make sure we're addressing issues like Dr. Clayton pointed out. If a teacher gets into a classroom and sees something that's out of the ordinary, we want it reported directly to the principal, and we want that principal to bring it right up to our Director of Facilities, and we want to address it. So I just want to assure you that that's a point of emphasis this year.
Okay, any other comments, questions? Okay, thank you.
I think I'll just stay up here.
Okay.
You don't have any comments?
We have any policy review, Ms. Geltman? No. All right, now, come on back up to the microphone.
Okay, I'm back.
Dr. Dykle.
Okay. This is the cash flow for August, and first one up is the general fund. You can see in August we collected $5.6 million. We spent $7.8 million because it was a 3-pay month. And end of August we ended up with $1.1 million in our bank, and we're looking at possibly $681,000 as our cash balance at the end of the year, December 31st. Debt service, there was no activity. Pension debt, there was no activity. Capital projects, we received $62,000, and that's from the local option income tax. We get that every month. And then we spent $576,911. So our ending cash balance is $1,789,000. We're projecting a December 31st cash balance of $951,000. In transportation, we received just some receipts from extracurricular and some other refunds. So we received $176, but we spent $425,000. I don't like to see those. But we ended up with a cash balance of $1.1 million at the end of August, and we're projecting $214,000 by the end of December. Bus replacement fund, no income. The activity we had was the contracted drivers for $66,894 because they're on 26 pays. And cash balance at the end of August was $250,000, and we're projecting about $89,000 at the end of the year. And then the rainy day fund, no income. This should be the final expenditure for the 10 pays that we ended up taking out of the rainy day fund. So the rainy day fund balance is $4.3 million. So I will entertain any questions.
Any comments or questions?
I have a question, and I apologize, I missed the last board meeting, so this may have been addressed then. What is our plan to address the $1.1 million expended deficit in the debt service fund?
Yeah, that's because what we did was we spread out the tax cap loss to debt service, which is a protected fund. So at the end of the year, it'll probably still be in the red. When I do the budget for 19, we'll have to get property taxes to cover that up, to pick it up back to zero. So that's what'll happen.
But we're not allowed to end a budget year in a red, so.
I know, but that's what's going to happen when you do that. See, when we do our budget, we can always ask for 100% of our debt service payment. Then we ask for the following 6 months. So we're going to ask for all of 19 plus the following 6 months. The problem with that is back in 2012, I think it was, or 13, the law changed. We can't ask for the full 6 month on that 18-month period. We can only ask for 15%. So we're not even able to get all the money. That's why we're having to borrow so much money, because I don't have the cash flow there. In the past, we didn't have to worry about things like that. But, I can always come back to the board and take money out of the other funds and move it back, if that's what you want. But it's going in now that we're showing it as a negative, so we'll see.
Well, I think what we need to do is show everything at zero or balanced.
Oh, yeah, ideally,
You
yeah.
have to come back.
Sometimes the property tax distribution, where those dollars come in too, plays a little bit of a role, doesn't it, as well? So that's, if we get the distribution in December on time, then will that?
Well, that's projected in the December 31st
Okay.
number of getting the balance of our property taxes. So.
Any other comments or questions of Dr. Dykle? Thank you. Next on our agenda is student achievement and the academies of Greater Clark, and I think Ms. Pfeiffer is going to introduce that.
Thank you. We have Dr. Marianne Fisher here tonight, and also our Jeffersonville High School student ambassadors for the academies of Greater Clark. And so first I'd like to introduce Dr. Fisher first, and I think maybe Dr. Fisher, if you just stand there and we can line the ambassadors up in just a second here so that way they can see everyone. She's brought her ambassadors with her this evening. This is Dr. Fisher's first year with us as an academy coach, and she's working with our ambassadors and all of our academies at Jeffersonville High School. Ambassadors began their training towards the end of last year and then started this year in full force. So I'd like Dr. Fisher to talk a little bit about that, and then I think they're ready to introduce themselves and take any questions that you might have about the beginning of the year and our wall-to-wall rollout.
Thank you. I think that our theme this year is also adventure. It's the Academy Adventure, and we are having a really good time with the initiative. It is exciting, it's energizing, and I'm very privileged to be working with our student ambassadors. We did start our training last spring at Ivy Tech, and all of the ambassadors were there for the whole district, and it was a really good experience for everyone. And then we did another training in the summer. And ever since then, I've been working them as hard as I can. And they will tell you that. They come to meetings at 7:15 on Tuesday mornings. And they're not always fully awake, but I always have snacks for them, so that helps. But they are a really amazing group of young people. And they're not all here tonight because juniors and seniors, as you know, are into all sorts of things. They're working, they're in athletics, they're practicing. And so I'm very thankful that they were able to come tonight, and I'm going to let them do the talking now because they are much better at telling you what's been going on than I am. But first, I would like for you to introduce yourselves and use your elevator speech, tell your grade, your academy, your pathway. And
Hello, my name is Amanda Hernandez.
guys. I'm a senior at Jeff, and I'm in the Health Academy.
Hi, I'm Alan Kyle, and I'm a student ambassador for the Health Services Academy, and I'm currently on the patient care pathway, and I'm a senior.
Hi, I'm Sarah Borders. I'm also a senior, and I'm in the Engineering and Manufacturing Academy.
Hi, I'm Anna Lowe. I'm in the Public Service Academy under the Civic Arts Pathway, and I'm a junior at Jeff.
Hello, I'm Allie Wozowicz. I'm a senior at Jeffersonville High School, and I am a representative for the Business Academy.
Hi, I'm Deshaun Wright. I'm a junior student ambassador for the Business Academy.
Hi, my name is Kendall Jackson. I'm a student ambassador for the Health Academy.
Hi, I'm Jordan Baker, and I'm a student ambassador for the Public Service Academy, and I'm a junior.
You just want to be a senior, right?
Hello, my name is Yusin Hong. I am a senior at Jeff High. I'm in the Public Service Academy going down an education pathway.
Hi, my name is Joey Zelli. I'm a student ambassador for the Engineering and Manufacturing Academy, and I'm a junior.
Hi, I'm Robert Whitlock. I'm a sophomore ambassador for the Public Service Academy.
Hi, my name is Vicky. I'm a senior, and I'm a junior. I'm a student ambassador for the Business
And I think you were kind of plotting out there what you wanted to say, but I think someone is going to talk about what we've been doing, what our activities have been. Okay, so
We're just going to speak on past events, current-ish events, and like what we plan on doing more this year. And I can start out. So recently we have been talking about upcoming events for what we have scheduled to do. And what I'm talking about is training the ambassadors at the middle schools. So River Valley and the middle schools, including River Valley Parkview, are going to come to Jeffersonville High School. We are going to help train the middle schoolers in the Marshall Center. And we're going to talk about playing a telephone game, but what we did at Ivy Tech in the beginning of the school year. And yeah, about that. And our episode 2 of Greater Clark Live was September 14th, last Friday, with the steering and tactic teams, and that went also very well. I'm just going to speak lightly on what we've done throughout the year so far. So August 30th, we held a college and career fair. Different colleges came in to visit, so students had the opportunity to go on a little mini college tour within the school here to get information packets, understand what all there is for them to explore. And we had a table set up, helped with that, guided them through that whole process of just go up to this table, talk to them, tell them what you're interested in. And then August 31st, we had our first Academy kickoff day. So we had all the academies had their own separate entities throughout the school. Some were outside. I know business and engineering were outside. Engineering had robots outside, which was really neat. So they had tape all on the ground, and they were the entire time. I think it was like 2 hours, 2.5 hours. We just spent, doing things entitled to your academy pathway. So business had a business table with a tent. The best part was the DJ and the food, Kona Ice as well, so that was a lot of fun. So we plan on doing some more type stuff this year, which I think Caleb.
upcoming, we have students from the Health Academy going to meet with a scientist that conducted an experiment on wheels. So students from the Health Services Academy get the opportunity to talk with him and hear about his experiment.
And what I will be talking about is what Dr. Fisher mentioned a little bit, that we've been meeting every morning on Tuesdays. Yes, we have. And during those mornings, we've been practicing our pitches for when any of you guys want to come visit, or other people who are interested in seeing what the academies are like. We've been practicing what we would say to them at the beginning of our tour. So what we just did, introduced ourselves, and then saying, for example, hello, welcome to Jeffersonville High School, home to 2,000 rentables, stuff like that, with some statistics in between. So we've been practicing that every morning. That's about it. Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask us.
What's the biggest advantage of being in an academy? Like, you have like this path.
Oh, it's at the start of like you knowing what you're going to do when you leave high school. It gives you a better.
So what if you change your mind?
You can change it with that.
One time, I changed my major 7 times in college. 8, I declared my major 8 times as a lie.
Here's the thing though, the idea of it is to let you try out one of the
Yeah, I think if I had tried engineering, I probably wouldn't have gone to school for it.
That's a big comeback on that.
Yeah,
They should
good
get-
point.
Well, assuming you start trying it out, then assuming you know you want to go into it or that you don't want to go into it.
That's a good point.
And especially in my pathway, the engineering pathway, you get to do a lot of hands-on stuff, like coding or architecture, design.
That'll help you get through all those horrible
3D
freshman
modeling.
classes.
So you get a lot of tastes of like different fields within the bigger pathway, and you can see if you enjoy it or if you don't, and then you can change. And that eliminates 2 options, or it puts you on the path of 1.
So have any of you considered changing? I mean, I know it's still new. You have?
I have for sure.
Yeah.
I never thought I would want to go into media and broadcasting, but I took it last year as my sophomore year, and I fell in love with it. And I wanted to also stay with choir, and so I did choir this year, and I realized I wanted to change and go into media and broadcasting. So next year as a senior, I'll have more open classes to that, and so I'll be taking about 2 or 3 radio classes. And our radio station is amazing, and I think I should be taking advantage of that, especially as a senior. So I'm
You definitely have a voice for radio.
Backing up to what you said about like what's exciting about the academy and our role in that, I think a lot of it has to do with being more involved in the school, especially now with the academies. We actually have a role. Before, you know, we have our separate clubs where you can be president or have a leadership role, being a class officer.
Right.
But this kind of gives us like a purpose, I think. You know, people, the students can come to us if they have any questions, but we really, you know, we get to step up in our school and become that, you know, we get to come here. This is a perfect example. We come here and talk to you, get to,
You're welcome.
you know, use our, yes, you get to use our speaking skills because that is important. You know, we have speech classes, but then can you actually go in front of people and, you know, that you don't necessarily know. It's just really exciting because we are more a part of the school and are influential to the students below us. And, you know, and
That's
rising
awesome.
from the other grades, yeah.
I know you said that you're going to be training the middle schoolers to be ambassadors like you, but is it not also in the works that you're going to be training parents too?
I'm not sure.
I haven't talked to them
Oh, I'm sorry.
She almost got me.
I talked to them about the elementary training that's going to happen in January. And
Okay.
so we're gearing up for that, so, yeah.
Forget what I said. Okay.
We are also training elementary schoolers later on in January, though.
That'll be fun. You guys will do a great job with both of those.
I want to compliment you on responding to her question. You did a good job on that. Good job.
I think as a parent, the parents should be very excited about this because if you make a decision, it's a whole lot less expensive when you go to college if you make that
That's
decision.
true. I'll pay off my house
And
before
as
I
a
pay off
parent,
this.
I'm thinking that's great. That's great that you
I think a very overlooked perspective, I would say, on the whole situation with the academies is, oh, why are you shoving your kids in an academy before they're even in college? They're so young, they're 14, 15, 16, up, whatever. You don't really look at it as it's going into our career. Like right now, I'm 17, turning 18. I don't really know what I want to do. I know I want to go into international business and travel. But like you said, that changes 6, 7, 8 times. It's really a point for us, you know, stepping into those leadership shoes, you know, trying stuff out, getting to know, like, okay, what do I like, what do I not like? So it's really a learning experience, not just for the students getting brought into it, but also for us training those students because we really don't know exactly. We're just going along with it. So I think it's important that people understand that it's not just about the career pathway or, you know, what are you going to major in? It's more like what are we taking away from this, you know, after I'm done here, I'm a senior. But I've already taken a lot from this speaking here today, you know.
So are you getting any opportunities to job shadow?
Yes, so not job shadowing, but more as an assistant. So Mr. Bench, he is the radio and TV teacher, and I'm hopefully trying to stay with him half the day next year and help him out which would be great for me because I would learn so much more than just in the classroom. I would learn what he does as his job. I would learn what and how he teaches other students and how I can put that into my workplace.
I'd just like to say, especially in Jeffersonville, we're blessed to have such a diverse student population, and you all represent that beautifully. So go about and continue doing that. You're great ambassadors, and we appreciate you stepping up to be those leaders.
This is why I have one of the very best jobs in the district.
Yep. Can see that. Yep.
Board, the one thing we've learned through Fort NGL is the power of student voice. And it's one thing to have student ambassadors, which you can see that there's a lot to be proud of right here in front of us. And we have some great student ambassadors at Charlestown High School and New Washington Middle High as well. But the other thing that I think is just so important is that we listen. We listen to our students. And it's one thing to be student-centered, but we need to listen to what they have to say and how they feel about their own educational practice. So to me, you guys, I'm just really proud of you, and it's great just to hear your passion for the whole Academy movement. So thank you so much. Great job.
Offer you all the opportunity that if you want to cut out, that'd be fine.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, parents, too, for
You can stay if you want.
Did you practice what they got? Drive carefully.
While we're waiting, I don't know where the sound is coming from, but it's distracting up here. If you're playing music, please turn it off. Okay, our next agenda item is, I'm sorry. Oh, I thought you were addressing me. No. Okay, our next item on the agenda is our consent agenda, and there are several items on that consent agenda, including claims and travel report and field trips and personnel. And would any member of the board like to remove any of those items before I ask for a motion? Okay, may I have a motion to approve this consent agenda?
Motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Second. Thank you. And any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, carries. All right. Now we're ready for Ms. Zolman is going to share with us gifts to buildings.
Yes, this is a little bit different than I've noticed before. First of all, we have $4,356.74, and I looked at all of them, and we have Greater Clark, Bridgepoint, Maple, Riverside, and Wilson. They have done purpose of items. And then on the other ones that I did not have, I had Charlestown Middle, Jeff High, Parkview, and Spring Hill. They had a certain amount of money, and so I am making a motion to accept the gifts to buildings.
Thank you, Ms. Zolman. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Next, we have our action items. We're ready to go into our action items. And our first action item is the Transportation Facilities Department Project Architect.
Board, if you remember, a few board meetings ago, we asked permission to go and solicit for architects for a potential future transportation service facility. Our current transportation building is the oldest building in our district by far. So it's been in need of major upgrade, renovation, etc. So we did receive 3 inquiries from architectural firms, and Colbert Hawkins Architects here in Jeffersonville won the day. And so we would ask for your consideration to approve Colbert Hawkins as the architect. What they'll do is, of course, they'll bring together a proposal that we will review and bring to you as a recommendation here, as a future recommendation, and as part of a future potential bond that would pay for that project. So it starts with the architect putting the whole plan together, and it would be our plan to bring that forward to you here in the near future. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Do you have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept Colbert Hawkins Architects' proposal.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Discussion?
I have a question. What were some of the other quotes or bids on those? Weren't bids, but whatever.
One company that bid for or wanted to submit a bid, they did not go forward with their bid because they felt they could not build the project for the maximum amount that we were allowing for it. So they withdrew. And the other company had no experience building a similar type of a facility. So Colbert Hawkins really became the clear-cut choice.
The $345,000 is for a proposal.
It'll be for all the work that they would do from the start of developing the proposal all the way through the project. Normally what would happen is an architectural firm will charge approximately somewhere between 5 and 7% would be their charge for any project that they would be involved with in design. So that $345,000 figure is well within that range for this project.
But we're paying for it with a bond we don't have yet.
That's correct. We want to see, first of all, that they're going to come forward with the project. We know that we can have a project that could be up to $5 million. You as a board can vote to approve a project for up to $5 million. And so that is what we're looking at as a projected max number. And so that's what their fee was, pretty close to that 6% of that number.
Don't we have a lot of facilities projects like still up in the air? Or not up in the air, but not finished. We have Fetter, we have the 3 open concept, we have a new building we haven't built yet. There's still projects from the 2016 bond that haven't been completed. I feel like there's a lot going on, and with the risk of being in the red, I mean, I know this isn't, it's just, I think it's just a little quick with everything else going on.
This is long overdue for the bus transportation department. We wonder why we can't get bus drivers. It's kind of tough when the facility is as bad as it is. There isn't any parking, there aren't enough restrooms, but it's deplorable. The fact that we have something like that and people are expected to work there, I'm amazed that we have anybody. So.
And we had a plan to use the Fetter Center.
Right.
And we would have been able to come in under budget on that, but that didn't turn out. So I agree with you. I agree with both of you. Katie, we are doing a lot right now. And I don't know how facilities and the people that look after all those projects are keeping up with it, but we have a lot of needs in our school corporation because we haven't done some things. I mean, that transportation center is deplorable.
It is.
And
it is.
I will tell you, River Valley, Charlestown will both be done in December. Federal will be done in December. The downtown elementary will break ground by December. That'll be a big project moving forward that has to be done. A lot of these projects are done by different architects. They're done by different construction companies. It's not like it's all on any one architect or any one construction company. So, and they're looking for the work. The bridges are built and a lot of that infrastructure around this area are completed and companies are looking for work. And the longer we put any of these projects off, the more expensive it's going to be. Interest rates are going up, construction costs are going up. So I don't disagree that there's a lot happening, but the time is now. Our appraised value of our community has gone way up over the past several years. Our tax rates have gone way down over the past several years. The time to do this is now. We don't know when the economy will turn, when it will change. The timing is right to do these projects and still be reasonable within cost factors and as it relates to our taxpayers. So I think we're trying to find the right balance to get the work done that has to be done. It's been long overdue for decades.
You know, I don't have any problem other than, you know, if there's work, I don't have anything against the contractor, but it seems to me that we have just one company, and whatever they come up with is what we pay. So I don't see a lot of competition. Again, not to knock anybody from the local area, but you know. But you know, just you know, they say we've got work, but we've got one company, and that's it. And I just, you know, that's the only problem I have is you know, if we had other companies to bid or give quotes on these, that's one thing. And I understand the 5% and 7%, but that's the best we can do. Just have to do.
We have put this off, but so do cities and towns. Look at the roads and the bridges. Those aren't fun things to fix, and so they put it off and they don't fix it, and then suddenly we have this crisis. And I can tell you, driving down Holman's Lane when I have to come here, that there is a crisis. Anyway.
But it's also part of being progressive. You know, as a community, it's time for our community as a whole to invest in itself. This is an unprecedented time in our region. I've talked about that before. If you follow economic development, we are one of the most fortunate locations in the whole state of Indiana and one of the most fortunate in the state, in the whole country. And so part of that is all the infrastructure pieces, all the roads that are required. Our schools are a huge part of economic development, because why would people invest in our community if they did not feel as if the quality of the schools were going to be appropriate? There's a lot of work to be done. Board, I'm telling you, you've known this, those of you who've been on the board for a long time, there's a lot of work to be done. We've prioritized. We've tried to find the right time to do it, and I am telling you that costs of construction and interest rates will continue to go up. It's not going to be any less expensive to do these things.
Any other comments, questions? Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Was that Ms. Ullman opposed? Okay, we have 2 in opposition. 5-2. All right. Our next item is the CASIV Head Start Food Service Agreement, and Dr. Deichel, you're going to do that for us.
Yes, Head Start has been renting the 3 portable buildings at Pleasant Ridge Elementary School. We entered into an agreement with Community Action of Southern Indiana, Head Start, on December 1st, 2014, to provide breakfast, lunch, and snacks to them at our current rate through our food service department. This agreement begins August 1st, 2018, and shall terminate on June 30th, 2019. The agreement has meal charges as follows, with the last year's amount in parentheses. Last year we charged $1.75. This year we're moving it up to $1.79. Lunch was $3.23 last year, and this year it's $3.31, and snack went from 88 cents to 91 cents. So we're asking permission to enter into this contract.
Do you have a motion?
Move to approve the renewal of the contract to furnish food service to Casey for Head Start.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. And now we have Rachel's challenge contract, and I believe Ms. Pfeiffer's going to share some information about that.
Yes, Board, just asking for your approval of the contract between Rachel's Challenge and Charlestown Middle School this evening. In 2012, Charlestown Middle School made a commitment to become a Rachel's Challenge school, and this program includes at a school assembly that invokes emotional responses about kindness, becoming the anti-bullying / school violence approach. In 2015, they renewed their commitment in the hopes that every 3 years that they would continue renewing until all CMS students to have that emotional positive life focus experience at some point in their lifetime. The program is unlike any that they've ever hosted, and it really strikes right to the heart of each student. CMS pays for a portion of their contract out of their student activities or pride funds, and then the community partners help step up to pay the remainder of that bill. There's rachelchallenge.org as a website if you're interested in learning more about the resources there, and it is time to renew that, so we're asking for your approval between Rachel's Challenge and Charlestown Middle School, and the total of that cost is $3,600.
Do you have a motion?
Move to approve the contract between Rachel's Challenge and Charlestown Middle.
Second.
Second, thank you. Questions or comments? Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I would just say in 2012, I had an opportunity to attend their assembly. It was extremely powerful and engaging, and I definitely see how it's beneficial to our student population. So I'm proud to support it.
Katie?
I just went, how familiar are you? I'm sort of familiar with the challenge, but not really familiar. Are you familiar with it, or are you just speaking on Charleston?
I am speaking on their behalf since
Okay.
I haven't been here long enough to be a part of one of those.
I hear a lot of good things about it. Do you know who Rachel was?
I was a part of their 5K race to help
From
raise money for
Columbine.
Rachel's Challenge, yeah.
Yeah, Rachel
Columbine.
was unfortunately
Mm-hmm.
victim at Columbine.
Yeah, I think it's a good cause.
Thank you. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carries. Thank you. Discussion item, oh no, excuse me, we have any, discussion items from the board? Okay, reports or requests?
I would like to say one thing.
I was going to ask you if you
Wait,
were going to
that's
report.
comments, though. It's
Oh, there's
reports and
comments
requests,
on it.
right?
Never mind.
Yeah.
No request, no request.
Okay.
Read my mind now.
I know. I
Keep it.
I'm here for it.
Man.
Public comments on non-agenda items, none? All right, now, board comments. Dr. Clayton.
That's you.
Thank you. I would like to say that I was very impressed with the presentation of our superintendent at the school board and superintendent association. I thought he had a great handle on pathways and some of the others. Matter of fact, probably part of his character is that I've seen him take charge there for a while. I know he wanted to talk, but I thought you did a great job. And then the other program that I sit in on, I'm forgetting the what they called it, but the Apple
Coding.
I was driving over, I left my stuff at the house, but on the coding, I thought that was very interesting for kids if we look at that, because they start out doing a little creation of a app, and then they get into creating a full app on their own. I thought that was pretty impressive. Now, I wouldn't touch the computer, but they were doing pretty good.
Well, I was sitting with somebody who knew what they were doing, Miss Pfeiffer, so, yeah, that was a great program that we went to. The other one that I felt was very beneficial was the state superintendent. She shared a lot of information that I didn't know. I probably should have known, but I didn't. And she continues to provide good news and bad news with a sense of humor, and I appreciate that. There was just a lot of excellent conferences that we were able to attend in Indianapolis, and I appreciate the opportunity. Anybody else?
Reports, is that what you're asking?
Yes, ma'am. You have a report?
I do. You're
All
all
right.
telling me if I go to these things, I have to bring a report back. Okay, I did this report thing. We have, I guess we meet maybe every 3 months with the 4 school boards, Greater Clark, New Albany, and West Clark, and Clarksville. And that meeting was held here. We hosted it. We always do a really good job of that. Although the next time we'd like to have bread pudding, please, if we do. Okay, that's, I do. Anyway. anyway, the legislators come at that time, and we're able to talk about the kinds of things that are up in the next legislative session. And you'll be happy to know that we talked about how long will it be that schools are the only entity in the state of Indiana that have to go to referendum. We talked about that. We talked about the fact that the Indiana School Board Association is taking over the Neola program, and that will be at a reduced fee, and so it won't cost us as much, which I thought was good. We talked a lot about TIF money, a lot about that, because Ed Clare is really big on that. And then I think the thing that was interesting to me was how we are going to get more money into the Treasury, and some of the suggestions were night sports betting, which they are talking about, and also medical marijuana. So they're just discussing those things as ways to fund the state, and we're hoping maybe schools. I think that's, our superintendent was there as well, so we'll let him finish my report. Thank you for your time.
Any other reports from board members? The other thing I wanted to say about the fall conference is that when you attend those things, and just like you said, Dr. Clayton, our superintendent presented, and he seemed to know quite a bit about what he was talking. But I continue to be amazed at not just what this school corporation and our folks over there know, but the fact that we obviously are teachers of different things throughout the state, and I appreciate that a great deal. Now it's your turn.
Well, I appreciate, I think, as you guys know, going to ISBA conference, there's a lot to learn, and what's great is just to hear what's going on around the state, and there's always something that we could be doing better that we learn, and it's always nice to know too that maybe we're doing some good things that people could learn from us as well, right? So the networking capability is always powerful, and it's great to be around people that are big, strong believers in K-12 education, and that's always nice. So I appreciate that opportunity. And then the Academies of Greater Clark, we had these students here, and just real quickly, 86 adults were present at Ivy Tech. We're at a point where we've outgrown our ability to host that until the Feder Center is built. So we held it at Ivy Tech, so we appreciate our partnership with them. Aramark provided the food as normal, did a great job. But just to have all of the students actually facilitate that entire meeting, and the conversations in our tactic teams. We have 12 tactic teams that are made up of adults from throughout our community and students, and just to get their input and their feedback and listen to their ownership of the work that we're doing. Yeah, we've definitely gone far from a vision to actual application implementation, and it's great to be around that kind of influence, positive power and influence. So I appreciate that very much. Do we have board comments, or were you going to, was that board comments?
That was board comments.
Okay. I don't know if you had any more comments.
Any more comments?
No, I would like to say this on the gentleman that did the safety program.
Oh, yes.
It's good to know that we're doing a lot, and he did state that Indiana was ahead of a lot of states. But his presentation was, although it was long, it was very interesting to see the things that we were taught at one time that we have to retrain our minds to do. We were taught to run. Okay, now we're taught to walk to that door and everybody get out instead of running that door, jamming it up. So it's an hour. So I really enjoy it.
I don't know I've ever seen anybody talk that fast and for that long. He got a lot of stuff delivered, didn't he? Okay. Any other comments? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you.
adjourned.